Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 45.
We start with Zhu Yu, the top military commander for the Wu forces. Now, Zhu Yu had this deep-seated resentment for Zhu Jiang.
He saw him as brilliant, definitely, but also a huge future problem, someone who, in Zhu Yu's mind, just had to go.
So he sets this first trap. It's quite subtle. He invites Zhu Ziliang to join the army's advance.
He was normal enough.
Right. And then he proposes this mission, cut Cao Cao's grain supply over at Judy Mountain. Makes it sound super important, strategically vital.
And he even backs it up, referencing Cao Cao's own famous victory against Yuan Shao at Wuchao, using the same tactic. Makes it sound like a solid plan.
But there's that darker layer, isn't there?
What?
What was the real plan here?
Well, that's the nasty part. Zhu Yu knew Cao Cao had this massive army, like 830,000 troops. Wu only had, what, 50 or 60,000?
That's a huge difference.
Exactly. So Zhu Yu's secret plan was basically to send Zhu Ziliang into the jaws of Cao Cao's forces and let them kill him.
Wow. Using the enemy to eliminate a rival. Clever, but ruthless.
Keeps his own hands clean, solves his future problem, as he saw it.
But Zhu Ziliang, he wasn't fooled for a second, was he?
Not at all. It's extraordinary, really. He saw right through the whole scheme immediately.
So what does he do? Refuse.
No, because that would just confirm Zhu Yu's suspicions or maybe make him look like a coward. Instead, the text says he accepted happily.
Accepted happily, knowing it's a death
Yeah, because he was already thinking ahead, planning his countermove while smiling, basically.
Incredible. And poor Lu Su is stuck in the middle of all this.
Right, the go-between. He's clearly worried about Zhu Liang, which sets up Zhu Ziliang's next brilliant move.
Ah, yes, the taunt.
Yeah.
This is great. He tells Lu Su that he and Zhu Yu only have one skill each.
He does. And he gives this little rhyme, essentially saying, Lu Su, you're good at ambushes on land.
Okay.
But Zhu Yu, he's only good at naval battles. Ouch.
Oh, that would sting. Especially for a proud commander like Zhu Yu.
That was the genius of it. Zhu Liang knew Zhu Yu's ego was his weak spot, and the reaction? Pure fury.
He couldn't stand being told he had just one skill.
Not a chance. It hit him right where it hurt. So in this fit of anger, he cancels the mission for Zhu Liang.
And decides.
Decides he'll lead the mission to Judy Mountain himself. He's going to prove he's great on land, too.
So Zhu Ziliang not only avoids the trap, but gets Zhu Yu to walk right into potential danger himself. Amazing.
But he's not done yet. Zhu Liang knows Zhu Yu is heading for trouble.
Right, he still needs the alliance.
Yeah,
Fundamentally.
so he uses Lu Su again, this time to pass on some unsolicited but vital strategic advice.
What does he say?
He warns that Cao Cao is a master of supply line attacks himself. His grain stores won't be easy targets. They'll be heavily prepared, heavily guarded.
Makes sense.
And Zhu Liang predicts Zhu Yu will echo. He'll definitely be captured if he goes.
So what's the alternative?
Focus on the water first. Win a decisive naval battle, basically. Break the Northern Army's morale. Then think about land attacks.
And how does Zhu Yu take this advice, coming from the guy he was just quit to kill?
Well, the analysis is just too good to ignore. Even Zhu Yu has to admit it. He says, Zhu Liang's Duke She, his insight is 10 times better than mine.
Wow. A huge admission.
It is, but doesn't mean the rivalry's over. Zhu Yu still thinks, okay, you're brilliant, but I still need to get rid of you later.
Who's not? Not right now. Cao Cao is the bigger immediate threat.
Priority number one for the moment. The alliance holds barely.
Okay, so let's shift gears. We've got Liu Bei, Zhu Liang's lord. He's getting worried back in his camp.
Understandably. He's concerned about Zhu Liang, sure, but also about the whole alliance. It's fragile.
So he sends his envoy, Mi Zhu, over to the Wu camp, just to check things out.
Yeah, presents some gifts to Zhu Yu, asks about Zhu Liang, seems routine.
But Zhu Yu sees another opportunity here, doesn't he?
He does. While at entertaining Mizu, he drops this casual invitation for Liu Bei himself to come over for a personal chat. To discuss strategy, supposedly.
Uh-oh. This sounds familiar. Another trap.
A much deadlier one this time. This wasn't about letting Cao Cao do the dirty work. Zhu Yu planned to lure Liu Bei in and assassinate him directly.
Why Liu Bei now?
Zhou Yu saw Liu Bei as a true hero of the age, but also a future problem for Wu that, quote, knew must be eliminated.
He thought Liu Bei was an even bigger long-term threat.
Seems so. He was ready to take him out himself.
And Lu Su,
Yeah.
still trying to be the voice of reason.
Yep. Still arguing for the alliance, saying, hey, focus on Cao Cao. But Zhu Yu is absolutely set on this.
And the plan is chilling. He arranges for two to buddy.
50 axemen hidden behind curtains in the main tent, just waiting.
Waiting for the signal.
Which was Zhu Yu throwing down his cup. Ooh, classic assassination signal.
So Mizu goes back, reports this invitation. Guan Yu, Liu Bei's sworn brother, immediately smells a rat, right? Especially with no letter from Zhu Jilang.
Exactly. Guan Yu warns him, says it's probably a trap.
But Liu Bei, he decides to go anyway. That seems incredibly risky.
Hugely risky. But his reasoning apparently was about trust. He felt he had to go to prevent mutual suspicion from destroying the alliance.
He thought if he didn't show up, Zhu Yu would get suspicious, and the whole thing against Cao Cao would fall apart.
That seems to be the idea. The whole effort would fail. It's a massive gamble on trust, maybe on his own judgment too.
And he goes with hardly any backup.
Just one fast boat and maybe 20 or so attendants. That's it.
When Zhu Yu sees him arrive with such a small escort, what does he think?
He literally laughs, according to the text. Thinks, this guy's basically asking to die. He's sure his plan will work.
So the scene is set. Liu Bei and Guan Yu walk into the tent.
They're seated respectfully. The banquet starts. Polite conversation, food, wine.
But everyone knows, or senses, those 50 axemen, hidden just feet away, waiting for that cup to drop. The tension must have been unbelievable.
Absolutely. You can just imagine the atmosphere in that tent. Deadly smiles all around.
Kong Ming, the famous strategist, he arrives at the riverside, and he hears that Liu Bei, who you might know as a Xuande, is meeting with a Zhou Yu.
Right, and this immediately sets off alarm bells for Kong Ming. He's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he slips into the main tent, kind of stealthily, and what he sees, it's chilling. Zhou Yu's face, it just radiates murderous intent.
The text actually uses the phrase, Zhou Yu, mianishaki.
And hidden in the wall coverings. Kong Ming spots swordsmen, axemen, all secretly positioned. It's a trap, plain and simple.
But what's really interesting is Kong Ming's reaction. First, yeah, it's alarmed, but then his eyes, they're sharp, right? He spots something.
What's that?
He sees Xuande, who seems completely oblivious, just laughing and talking like nothing's wrong.
Okay, so he's in danger but doesn't know it.
Exactly. But standing right behind Xuande, hand on his sword hilt, is Guan Yu, Yun Chang.
Ah, the legendary warrior.
And Kong Ming sees him, and there's this instant sense of relief. He thinks, okay, my master's safe. That one observation, Guan Yu's presence, changes his whole assessment.
So the bodyguard is the key. But what was it specifically about Guan Yu? Was it just that he looked tough, or was it his reputation that really spooked Zhou Yu?
It was absolutely more than just looking tough. During the feast itself, Zhu Yu, who thinks he's got this all figured out, suddenly notices Yun Chang, and he's visibly startled.
He recognizes him.
Instantly. The text says, he asks, wasn't he the one who previously beheaded Yan Liang and Wen Chao?
So that reputation precedes him.
Like a thunderclap. It says, sweat started pouring down Zhu Yu's back. Yun Li Mende, his whole plan just evaporates. He even starts pouring wine for Yun Chang himself.
So the meticulously planned ambush falls apart because of one unexpected guest with a fearsome history.
Precisely. Zhu Yu's plan was sound on paper, but he didn't account for that X factor, Guan Yu's sheer presence and reputation. That recognition just dismantled his intent on the spot.
It wasn't just fear, though, was it? Or was it maybe about, like, violating some warrior code by setting this ambush?
Well, it's partly fear, sure, but it's more a strategic calculation. Guan Yu wasn't just any fighter. He was known everywhere as a tiger general of the world, and crucially, he always traveled with Xuande.
Okay, so they were a package deal.
Right. Zhu Yu knew immediately. Harm Xuande, and Guan Yu will retaliate. The cost would be immense, way too high. So it's not just about Kong Ming having sharp eyes. It's about this kind of shadow economy of reputation.
Guan Yu's reputation was like an invisible shield.
Exactly. A known quantity, a powerful deterrent that just completely canceled out the physical trap. It really makes you think how often a strong reputation, or even just the threat of one, can be more effective than actual force.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so later, Xuande tries to get Kong Ming to join them, but Zhu Yu says no.
Blocks him.
But then Yun Chang gives Xuande a subtle look, like an eye signal. Xuande gets the hint and leaves. Down by the river, Kong Ming lays it out for him.
He tells him straight, if Yun Chang hadn't been there, Zhu Yu would have got you.
And Kong Ming doesn't just get them out of immediate danger. He gives Xuande these super specific instructions for later. Prepare boats, troops, have Zhao Yun wait at the south bank on a particular day.
The 20th day of the 11th month, Jiasi Day. Very precise.
And then this amazing line, "But when the southeast wind rises, I will surely return." How does he just predict the weather like that?
Now, it seems like magic, but it speaks volumes about Kong Ming's deep understanding of the local weather patterns, the microclimates of that region. He's turning what looks like a prophecy into a perfectly timed strategic move.
Incredible foresight.
Oh.
And just as Wande is sailing off,
Who shows up? Zhang Fei, with like 50 or 60 boats.
why was he there?
He was worried sick about Xuande, apparently thought maybe Yun Chang couldn't handle it alone. It just shows you the loyalty, the trust within Liu Bei's core group. That's a kind of strength you don't see on a military roster, right?
Absolutely. So that whole sequence, it's about intuition, protection,
Mhm.
small details, averting disaster.
And planning. Real strategy isn't just reacting, it's anticipating, setting things up for that perfect moment, leveraging everything, including reputation. It's just a masterclass.
So the banquet was Zhu Yu's first play, maybe a bit subtle, but he wasn't finished trying to assert his power, was he?
Not even close. His next move really ramps up the psychological warfare and leads directly to a big naval fight.
Okay, so after Xuande leaves, Lu Su, another advisor, asks Zhu Yu, basically, why didn't you go through with it?
And Zhu Yu's answer is very revealing. He says again, Guan Yu is that tiger general, always, with Xuande. He spells it out. If I'd hurt Xuande, Guan Yu would have come after me, no question.
So again, it's that calculation. The risk was just too high because of Guan Yu.
Exactly. The potential consequences outweighed the benefit of eliminating Xuande right then.
Okay, and then things really escalate. A messenger arrives from Cao Cao.
Yeah, carrying a letter. And the address is kind of formal, maybe a bit condescending. Han Grand Chancellor to Commander Zhu.
And Zhu Yu's reaction.
Pure fury. Immediate. He rips the letter up, throws it on the ground,
Wow.
and orders the messenger to be executed on the spot.
What? You don't kill the messenger.
Right. Lu Su protests immediately, saying the standard thing. Between two nations at war, do not execute the messenger. It's an ancient rule, a basic diplomatic principle.
But Zhu Yu ignores him.
Completely. His response is chilling. Execute the messenger to show our might. Shan, Shi, Xiwei. And he doesn't just kill him. He sends the man's head back to Cao Cao.
That is brutal and provocative.
It's absolutely calculated psychological warfare. It's not just rage, though I'm sure he was angry. It's a deliberate, powerful message of defiance, of dominance, an extreme way to assert authority.
It's like he's deliberately escalating things, forcing Cao Cao's hand.
Precisely. It's a masterclass in what you might call escalation commitment. By doing something so outrageous, sacrificing a messenger, he's not only showing strength, but probably causing unease, maybe even fear, in Cao Cao's camp. That psychological damage can be huge.
And does he follow this up with action?
Immediately, he launches an attack. Gan Ning leads the vanguard. Han Dang on the left, Jian Qin on the right.
Gan Ning, another fierce warrior.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't just attack. He issues a challenge, finds Kai Sun, one of Cao Cao's commanders, and takes him out swiftly with an arrow.
So the battle begins. Sanjiang Estuary.
And it quickly becomes clear this is a mismatch in terms of naval skill. Eastern Wu's forces, they live on the water. They have 10,000 crossbows firing in unison. Their maneuvers are expert.
And Cao Cao's troops.
His King and Yu soldiers, the text says, they were not accustomed to water battles. They're struggling just to keep their balance on the boats. It's chaos for them.
So Eastern Wu dominates.
Absolutely. Huge victory for Zhu Yu. Tons of enemy casualties. But even then, even after winning decisively,
He pulls back.
yes, he orders a retreat. Ningjin Zhu Chuanzi. Why? Because despite the win, he knew he was still outnumbered.
Strategic caution even in victory.
That's right. It shows he's not just caught up in the moment. This whole episode, from the messenger to the battle, it shows that mix of psychological aggression and tactical prudence. And it really highlights how a smaller, expert force can just dominate a larger, unprepared enemy in the right environment, like their home turf.
It's a powerful lesson in knowing your strengths, your enemy's weaknesses, and when to push or pull back. Okay, so that naval defeat must have stung Cao Cao. How did he react? Especially towards his commanders, Cai Mao and Zhang Yan.
Oh, he was furious initially. Blamed Cai Mao and Zhang Yan directly. But this is where leadership matters, right? How do you respond to a big setback?
Does he just yell or does he listen?
He listens. Kai Mao gives him a really insightful explanation. He points out, look, our Jingzhou sailors are new recruits, basically untrained, and your Norden troops, the King and Zhu soldiers, they just don't have sea legs. They're not used to fighting on water.
Makes sense. So what's the solution?
Kai Mao proposes a brilliant adaptation. Build a proper, dedicated water camp, a fortress on the water.
Okay, tell me about this camp. It sounds impressive.
Oh, it is. The description is vivid. 24 massive water gates along the river, big ships anchored out front, forming walls like a floating city, smaller boats inside for transport, moving around easily. And at night, imagine this. Lights everywhere, reflecting on the water, making the whole area glow fiery red, plus a huge land camp stretching for over 300 li. That's like, what, 100 miles? With campfires burning continuously. It's an incredible display of power and engineering.
A truly formidable setup.
Yeah.
Almost impenetrable, it sounds like. And this huge light show, this massive camp, it doesn't go unnoticed.
Not at all. Zhu, across the river, sees this Hayu Gongji Tian firelight reaching the sky. His curiosity is definitely piqued. He thinks, what have they built over there?
So he decides to check it out himself.
Yeah. The very next day, he decides on a personal reconnaissance mission. Super daring.
What's the strategic thinking there? Why risk going himself?
Well, first-hand intelligence is invaluable, right? He wants to see it with his own eyes. So he gets a Luchuan, a tower ship, basically a multi-decked vessel, loads it with brave officers, archers with strong bows, even drummers.
They're not exactly sneaking.
No, it's quite bold. He sails right up close to Cao's new water camp, drops anchor, and they even start playing music on board.
Music? Is that a taunt? Or just confidence?
Could be a bit of both. Maybe trying to look non-threatening or just incredibly audacious. But his goal is observation. And when he sees the camp layout, the organization, he's genuinely impressed.
What does he say?
He declares this truly has captured the essence of naval warfare. High praise coming from him.
Especially after just beating them soundly on the water.
Exactly. And his next thought is immediate. Who's in charge of this naval setup? He asks and finds out it's Kai Mao and Zhang Yun.
The same guys Cao initially blamed for the loss.
The very same. And Zhu Yu has this instant realization, these two guys, they know water warfare. They might be the key to Cao's whole naval strategy.
So his focus shifts.
Immediately, he thinks, I must devise a plan to eliminate them first.
Who be Shiji Jiren if I want to beat Cao's fleet? It's no longer about the whole army. It's about taking out the commanders, the brains of the operation.
That's a huge strategic pivot based on one scouting trip.
Right. But just as he's having this thought, uh-oh, Cao's forces spot his ship.
Time to go.
You bet. Xiao Yu doesn't hesitate. Orders anchor up, and they row away, like flying, it says. They easily outpace the pursuit boats.
Wow. So that whole sequence really shows you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Leadership means adapting. Reconnaissance is critical. And identifying your opponent's key strengths, or rather the key people behind those strengths.
That can change everything. Zhao Yu realizes a direct assault on that camp is probably a bad idea now. But if he can remove Kai Mao and Zhang Yun, maybe the whole structure crumbles. It's about finding the linchpin, not just brute force.
Which leads us neatly into Cao's next problem. He's just suffered this naval defeat. Zhao Yu managed to scout his brand new camp. He must be getting pretty frustrated.
Yeah, the text says he is. He gathers his advisors and asks them point blank, how do we beat these guys? Anyone got a plan?
And someone steps up.
Someone does. A staff advisor named Jiang Gan from Zhujiang. His style name is Ziyu.
Okay, Jiang Gan, what's his big idea?
It's audacious, to say the least. He steps forward and basically says, hey, I can handle this. He claims he'll use his 3-inch tongue, basically, his powers of persuasion.
His words.
Exactly, his words alone, to convince Zhou Yu, who happens to be an old childhood friend of his, to surrender.
Wait, seriously? He thinks he can talk Zhou Yu into switching sides, just like that, based on an old friendship.
That's the pitch. It's remarkable, isn't it? Moving away from military force entirely and relying on personal connection, on rhetoric, it really speaks to how they valued influence and information even back then.
Cao must have been surprised. What did he say?
He was apparently delighted. He asks Jiang Gan about the friendship, wanting to know more, and Jiang Gan is just brimming with confidence.
Does he ask for an army, resources, anything?
That's the craziest part. His request is incredibly minimal. He says, I just need 1 servant boy to come with me and 2 servants to row the boat. Nothing else.
No guards, no backup, no fancy gifts.
Nope. Just him, his wits, his history with Zhu Yu, and a small boat crew.
That takes some serious nerve. Or maybe arrogance.
Perhaps a bit of both. But Cao Cao is pleased. He throws a big farewell banquet for Jiang Gan, sending him off on this highly unconventional mission.
So the stage is set for a totally different kind of battle. A battle of wits, of deception, maybe?
Absolutely. It shows this really audacious side of strategy where personal ties become potential weapons. A gamble is about to unfold that could potentially change the whole war without drawing a single sword.
Jiang Gan, he's an old friend of Ziyou's, apparently.
Or so he claims.
Right, he shows up at Ziyou's camp, sent by Cao Cao, supposedly to get Ziyu to switch sides. It seems a bit straightforward, maybe. Was Cao Cao underestimating Ziyu here?
That's a great question, and the source gives us this key detail. When Zhu Yu hears Jiang Gan is coming, he just laughs, tells his generals, "The lobbyist has arrived."
Ah, okay, so he knew.
Instantly. He knew this wasn't some friendly visit. He pegs him as a lobbyist, a persuader straight away. And that insight, that's crucial. It sets the whole thing in motion because Zhu Yu starts plotting his counter move. Like, before Jiang Gan even gets there, he's already way ahead.
And what a counter move.
Yeah.
He puts on this massive welcome, hundreds of followers in, what was it, brocade and flower hats?
Yeah, and silver armored generals. It's a real show of force.
Designed to impress, sure, but maybe intimidate too. Wouldn't Jiang Gan think, hang on, this feels like a setup?
Well, that's the brilliant part, isn't it? It's meant to throw Jiang Gan off balance right from the start. Zhu Yu introduces him as a schoolmate, makes a point of saying he's not a Cao Cao lobbyist. But then, and this is the kicker, he immediately has Tai Shishi stand there, overseeing the whole banquet with a drawn sword, and threatens to execute anyone who mentions Cao Cao or military stuff. It's not about trust at all. It's pure psychology. Put Jiang Gan on edge, plant that seed of doubt, make him feel like even asking the wrong question is dangerous. He knows his mission's blown before it starts.
Right, okay, that makes sense. So after this rather intense welcome, the show goes on. Zhu Yu takes him on a tour.
Yep, a grand tour.
They see these majestic and strong soldiers. The source calls them bears and tigers of men.
Oh.
And then, just to hammer it home, these enormous mountain-like piles of supplies. Gars.
Exactly. The visual message is clear. We are strong, we are ready, we are loyal. And Zhu Yu backs this up with words. He talks about serving a true patron, see you.
Okay.
This deep loyalty, bone and flesh loyalty, he calls it. And he says even the greatest talkers in history, guys like Su Qin, Zheng Yi, couldn't possibly sway him.
So he's basically performing loyalty.
He's performing an unbreakable oath. He's showing Jiang Gan, without even acknowledging his mission, that it's completely pointless. And it works. The source says Jiang Gan's face turns ashy.
Wow. So mission impossible at this point.
Absolutely. His official task is dead in the water.
Okay. So after the tour, the declaration, they go back to the banquet. Zhu Yu calls it the Gathering of Heroes. And this is where it gets, well, really interesting. Zhu Yu pretends to get completely hammered. Sword dance, singing.
Yeah.
It's a whole spectacle.
And this feigned drunkenness, it's absolutely vital for what comes next. It's the perfect cover.
How so?
It makes him look unguarded, right? Vulnerable, like he might let something slip. Jiang Gan, seeing this, probably thinks, okay, now maybe I can get something real.
Ah, right. Which leads us straight into the main deception, the accidental discovery.
Exactly.
Zhu Yu, pretending to be super drunk, throws up, then insists they share a bed, making it impossible for Jiang Gan to sleep. Imagine being Jiang Gan there, stuck.
Oh, totally. He can't sleep. He's under pressure to find something, anything. And then, by the dim lamplight, he sees papers on the table.
Conveniently placed papers.
Very convenient. And because he needs to find something, he secretly reads one. A letter addressed to Cai Mao Zangyun. Ziryu's counting on Jiang Gan's own desperation here.
And this letter, it's dynamite. It's forged, obviously, but it makes it look like Cao Cao's top naval commanders, Cai Mao and Zhang Yun, are actually planning to betray him.
Yeah, planning to assassinate him, basically. To offer Cao Cao's head is the phrase. Oof.
Jiang Gan must have been floored. The text says he was greatly shocked. He quickly hides the letter.
And here's where the setup is just masterful. Just after Jiang Gan hides it, Ziryu flips over in bed, startling him. Jiang Gan quickly puts out the lamp.
Making it seem even more secret, more illicit.
Exactly. And then Ziryu starts muttering in his sleep. mumbling about showing Jenga Cao Cao's head in a few days.
Oh, come on.
I know, right? It perfectly matches the letter he just read. It's this brilliant combination. The secret document backed up by unconscious confirmation. How could Jiangan doubt it? It's exactly the kind of intel he was hoping for.
It really feeds into what he wants to believe, that he's found the inside scoop. But Zhu Yu wasn't quite done, was he? There was one final touch.
One final nail in the coffin, yeah. As Jiangan is probably lying there, mind racing, someone comes into the tent to wake Zhu Yu up.
Oh.
Zhu Yu pretends to wake up all confused, asks who's in the bed, acts like he regrets saying anything while drunk, then he steps outside.
And Jiangan overhears something.
Precisely. Still pretending to be asleep, Jiangan overhears Zhu Yu talking in hushed tones about Zhang and Cai, the two commanders, saying something like, they can't act quickly.
Wow. So another piece of evidence.
Independent confirmation. It ties the whole package together perfectly. Everything Jiangan sees and hears, seemingly by chance, points to the same conclusion. It's an airtight setup.
So Jiangan, completely convinced he's got this critical intelligence, basically bolts at dawn.
Yep, scurries back to Cao Cao, probably feeling pretty pleased with himself, thinking he's outsmarted Zhu Yu.
Little does he know. He gets back, reports to Cao Cao, admits Zhu Yu is unshakable, but then presents the letter. The proof.
The proof of Cai Mao and Zhang Yun's treachery, and he's so proud of it.
And Cao Cao just explodes.
Furious, absolutely furious. He summons Cai Mao and Zhang Yun immediately.
And they walk right into it.
Completely unaware. They hesitate about advancing the troops, saying the Navy isn't fully trained yet.
Bad timing.
Terrible timing. Cao Cao, already convinced by the letter, just roars, if the army were trained, my head would be offered to Zhu Yu, and orders their immediate execution.
Just like that. Based on a fake letter and some staged sleep-talking.
It's incredibly tragic and deeply ironic. They're executed on the spot. Only after their heads are brought to him does Cao Cao realize. That cut-off moment. I fell for a trick.
But too late. Why, though? Why did Cao Cao, who's known for being brilliant himself, fall for it so easily?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It really speaks to how powerful a well-crafted deception can be, especially one that plays on your existing fears.
That's confirmation bias.
Exactly. Maybe Cao Cao already had some doubts about these commanders. Maybe he was worried about internal threats. Zhu Yu didn't just give him fake evidence. He gave him evidence that confirmed a narrative Cao Cao was maybe already willing deep down to believe.
Making it almost impossible to question in the heat of the moment.
Precisely. It was an incredibly costly mistake. And even then, he covers it up, tells his generals they were executed for, military law violations to save face.
Right. So Cai Mao and Zhang Yun are gone. Cao appoints Mao Ji and Yu Jin as the new naval bosses, trying to fix the mess.
Trying to stem the bleeding, yeah. Meanwhile, back in Zhu Yu's camp.
He must have been thrilled.
Overjoyed. The source says he declared Cai Mao and Zhang Yun were his biggest concerns. They were Cao Cao's naval experts, getting rid of them without even a fight. Huge strategic win. Now he says he has no worries.
And Lu Su, his advisor, is just amazed by the strategy.
Showering him with praise, yeah. But Zhu Yu, he's already thinking ahead.
There's more.
Always more with these guys. His final insight here is fascinating. He suspects that Zhuge Liang, another genius strategist on the Allied side, might actually see through his whole elaborate plan.
Worried Zhu Jilang is too smart.
Kind of. So he asks Lu Su to go and sort of test Zhu Jilang, see what he thinks.